It's about time that Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi woke up and realizes this country is in a state of constitutional crisis. But, as usual, she got it wrong regarding its origins. We'll explain more in this episode of Analysis Behind the News, where we provide the perspective that you can use to help save American liberty and independence. RealClearPolitics.com published Pelosi's answers to questions from a news conference late last week. She said that she agrees with House Judiciary Chairman Nadler that the country is in a constitutional crisis. However, she points to the administration not honoring their oath of office as the origin. She has part of that right. The country has been in a constitutional crisis for more than decades, but she's not recognizing that it's due to the federal government usurping power where it has no constitutional duties. The real crisis starts with Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution that is routinely ignored by Congress. This section delineates the specific enumerated powers that Congress has been granted. Yet, members of Congress frequently ignore those limitations and pass laws in areas for which they have not been granted any power to legislate in. That's usurping, or in other words, illegally exercising powers not granted to them. The founders had a cure for that. They suggested that these usurpations need to be treated as such. They needed to be ignored. Thomas Jefferson suggested nullification, which means officials refusing to implement an unconstitutional measure by declaring it null and void and of no force within a jurisdiction. This could be state legislatures or even county sheriffs stepping forward to protect their constituents. It also could mean one branch of the federal government refusing to work with another. But Speaker Pelosi hit the nail on the head when she suggested that folks aren't following their oath of office. Though she was pointing to the Trump administration, she left herself, her colleagues, and most of the federal government and state legislatures out of it. Bad move, because Article 6 of the Constitution points to all of these folks, plus all state and federal judiciary and executive officers, as being bound by oath to support the Constitution and all laws made within its specifications and limitations. Any laws made outside of the Constitution's limitations are to be ignored or nullified by those who have taken this oath. But many members of Congress get away with usurping powers they were never granted because their constituents do not hold them accountable. These constituents are typically not aware of what legislative powers are granted to Congress by the Constitution. And many in Congress have no idea of their legislative limitations. To give you one example, some years ago, about 2011 to be precise, Congress adopted a rule that requires them to point to the area of the Constitution that gave them the power to legislate in that specific topic. Often, a piece of proposed legislation simply points to Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution as being that source, yet nearly all of the legislation topics are not found in that section or any other section of the Constitution. They get away with it because no one calls them on it. And that, folks, is the real constitutional crisis: apathy of the American people. And only one organization exists to combat this apathy, and that's the John Birch Society. We are organized down to the local level to help better inform you and others of how the Constitution is the solution to our out-of-control federal government. To learn more, we suggest you watch our DVD or read our booklet on Article 6, the Founders' Brilliant Solution to Big Government. And we even have an entire action pack devoted to it with even more booklets and DVDs if you're interested. Then consider joining other patriots at the John Birch Society as we work in a national concerted program that multiplies your local efforts to rein in big government, protecting American liberty and independence.